Jin Woo floated through the vastness of space, the hum of his small starship echoing in the cockpit. He had spent months exploring the outer rim of the Andara system, charting unvisited planets and studying strange cosmic phenomena. He loved the quiet of space, the endless stars, and the thrill of discovering something new. Yet today, the silence felt heavier, more tense, as if the universe itself was waiting. Suddenly, his instruments went wild. The screens flashed red warnings as his ship was caught in an unexpected gravitational pull. Alarms rang, and Jin Woo grabbed the controls with both hands. He tried to break free, but the force was too strong. His ship was dragged toward a planet that seemed untouched by human exploration. The surface glowed with an unusual mix of purple and silver light. It was beautiful, but also intimidating. Jin Woo managed a rough landing near a vast city that shimmered like a jewel. Towers rose high into the sky, their surfaces reflecting the alien sun. As he stepped out of the ship, he felt the gravity was slightly heavier than Earth's, and the air had a faint metallic scent. The streets were empty, silent except for the faint whisper of wind through the towers. Suddenly, movement caught his eye. A figure was approaching him, tall, strong, and regal. She moved with confidence, and every step seemed measured and powerful. He recognized her instantly from the holographic reports he had seen back on Earth. She was Princess Hai Rin, the daughter of Lurian's ruling family. Known throughout the galaxy for her unmatched combat skills and her fierce pride, Hai Rin stopped a few meters away, her gaze sharp and assessing. Her skin had a soft shimmer, and her eyes glowed with a strange, captivating light. She did not smile. "You are far from your home, human," she said, her voice melodic but strong. "Why have you come to Lurian?" Jin Woo raised his hand slowly, showing he meant no harm. "I did not mean to intrude," he said. "I was exploring the Andara system. Your planet pulled me in with its gravity. I come in peace." Hai Rin's eyes narrowed. "You stand on my planet uninvited. Peace is not proven by words. Actions must show intent. If you truly seek peace, you must face me in a duel." Jin Woo froze. A duel? He had studied alien cultures, and he knew that a duel with a Lurianian royal was no ordinary fight. They were trained warriors from birth, skilled in combat techniques that could kill a human with a single strike. He was just a human, armed with intelligence, agility, and the small tools he carried for survival. But he could not back down, not when he had come this far, and not when peace was at stake. "I do not fight without reason," Jin Woo said cautiously. "Perhaps there is another way we can show trust." Ning laughed softly, a sound that carried both amusement and danger. "Trust is earned in my world through skill and courage. You will prove yourself, or you will leave as nothing more than a lesson to others." Jin Woo nodded, understanding that arguing further would only make things worse. He needed to be smart, careful, and quick. Hai Rin gestured to a large open area near the palace, an arena built for combat and ceremonies. "Prepare yourself, human," she said. "Show me what you are." The arena was unlike anything Jin Woo had ever seen. The ground was smooth and glowing faintly under his feet. Holographic barriers projected moving targets and illusions to test warriors, and he realized that this was more than a simple duel. It was a test of intelligence, reflexes, and bravery. He took a deep breath, feeling the tension in his body. He was not sure he could survive, but he had to try. Hai Rin stepped forward, her posture perfectly balanced. Her hands moved with a grace that was almost hypnotic. She did not draw a weapon, but Jin Woo knew better. Her body alone was deadly, trained to strike with speed and precision. He remembered his training, every move he had practiced for survival situations, and focused on keeping calm. The duel began with a swift dash from Hai Rin, testing his reactions. Jin Woo jumped aside, narrowly avoiding a strike that could have knocked him off his feet. He realized he had to think differently. Fighting her directly was impossible. Instead, he began to anticipate her movements, observing her patterns, predicting where she would go next. His agility as a human, combined with his sharp mind, allowed him to dodge and weave through the attacks. Hairin's expression did not change. Her eyes were still focused, calculating. Yet, as the duel progressed, something shifted. She noticed that Jinwoo did not attack her. Instead, he moved in ways that seemed defensive, protecting himself rather than trying to harm her. Her strikes became faster, more precise, but he continued to evade them with quick thinking and careful timing. For a moment, the arena seemed to hold its breath. Hairin stopped mid-strike, circling him with cautious curiosity. "You do not seek to harm me," she said, almost to herself. "Why?" Jinwoo paused, lowering his stance slightly to show he meant no offense. "I came to understand, not to conquer," he said. "Violence will not earn trust. I want peace between our worlds. I want to learn about you, not to fight you." The words seemed to resonate with Hairin. She hesitated, her glowing eyes studying him closely. The energy in the arena shifted, the holographic barriers flickering as if sensing the change in intent. Then, in a move that surprised everyone including Jinwoo, he stepped forward and extended his arms, embracing Hairin gently. It was a human gesture of trust and friendship, simple but profound. Hairin froze, unsure how to react. No one had ever approached her like this in combat. The arena fell silent, the air charged with anticipation. Slowly, her body relaxed in the embrace, and for the first time, she smiled, not a small smile, but one that lit her entire face. The duel had ended, not with victory through strength, but through understanding and courage. The crowd that had gathered guards, advisors, and hidden observers watched in awe. Jinwoo had proven something far greater than physical skill. He had shown empathy, bravery, and the ability to connect with an alien being on a level that words alone could not reach. Hairin stepped back slightly, her eyes still soft. "You are unlike any human I have ever known," she said. "Perhaps there is more to you than I imagined." Jinwoo nodded, relieved but still cautious. He did not fully understand what lay ahead, but he knew one thing. He had made an ally, maybe even a friend, in the most unexpected way. And in the vastness of space, that was a rare and valuable gift. As they walked out of the arena together, Jinwoo noticed the city around him with new eyes. The towers seemed less intimidating now, the streets less empty. He realized that Hairin had opened a door, not just for him, but for a potential bridge between their worlds. And while the journey was far from over, the first step had been taken with courage, trust, and a simple human hug. After the duel in the arena, Jinwoo followed Hairin through the glowing streets of the alien city. The tall towers shimmered under the light of their planet's twin suns, casting long shadows across the metallic roads. He marveled at the strange architecture, the flowing shapes of the buildings, and the energy that pulsed softly through the city. Hairin walked confidently, her eyes scanning every detail, aware of every movement around her. Despite her royal composure, there was a hint of curiosity as she glanced at Jinwoo, as if trying to read his thoughts. They arrived at the palace, an enormous structure with spiraling towers and open courtyards filled with alien flora. The air was fragrant with unfamiliar scents, a mix of sweet and metallic aromas. Guards, tall and elegant, stepped aside to let them pass, their eyes showing both respect and wariness. Hairin gestured for Jinwoo to follow her to a large hall where her council waited. The room was filled with beings of various shapes, each exuding power and intelligence. The council members had watched the duel, and their expressions were a mixture of skepticism and intrigue. One of the council members, a tall figure named De Hyan, spoke first. "Princess, the human has survived your test, but can he truly understand our ways? Will he respect our customs, our people?" Hairin looked at Jin Woo. He showed courage and trust, not just skill. That counts for more than many years of training. Jin Woo bowed slightly, keeping his tone respectful. "I do not claim to know everything about your people. I only wish to learn and to help where I can. I mean no harm." Another council member, Mi Sun, a woman with soft, glowing features, raised an eyebrow. "Words are easy. Actions speak louder. How can we trust that a human can truly honor our ways?" Jin Woo understood the concern. "Then I will show it through actions. I will follow your guidance and learn. I want to be a bridge between your people and mine. Please give me the chance." Hairin watched him carefully. She could sense sincerity in his voice, a quality rare in both humans and her own people. Slowly, she nodded. "Very well. He will stay under observation. We will see if his actions match his words." Over the next few days, Jin Woo immersed himself in Lyrianian culture. He trained in their customs, studied their language, and practiced their ways of etiquette and diplomacy. Every step was challenging. The smallest gestures had meaning, and missteps could offend. Yet, Jin Woo was patient and attentive, asking questions when unsure, and observing carefully before acting. Hairin often accompanied him, sometimes silently, sometimes offering guidance. She noticed his effort, his determination to understand rather than simply survive. One afternoon, they visited the training grounds where young warriors practiced combat. Jin Woo watched from a distance as Hairin demonstrated her skills, moving with speed and precision that left him breathless. He realized that strength alone did not define them. Their discipline, focus, and awareness of each other's movements made them formidable. He began to try simple exercises, testing his agility and reaction times. Hairin observed, occasionally correcting his stance or pointing out a better approach. Jin Woo laughed quietly when he stumbled, and Hairin allowed herself a rare smile. Impressed by his willingness to try. As the days passed, their bond grew stronger. Hairin found herself drawn to Jin Woo's patience and humility. He did not try to impress her with force or clever words. He simply acted with honesty and courage. She began to share stories of her people, the history of Lorien, and the responsibilities that came with her position as princess. Jin Woo listened intently, asking questions that showed he truly wanted to understand. He shared his own experiences, the dangers of human exploration, and the values he held dear. In those conversations, a quiet respect grew, unspoken but powerful. One evening, as the twin suns began to set, casting purple and gold across the sky, Hairin led Jin Woo to a high balcony overlooking the city. "You have done well," she said softly, "not just in learning, but in showing your true self. Most humans would never have survived here, and few would have sought to understand us. You are different." Jin Woo felt a warmth in his chest. "I only wanted to do right by your people. And by you," he admitted, hesitating. "I hope I have not caused trouble." Hairin studied him, her eyes reflecting the fading light. "You have caused no trouble. You have brought hope. Our people are cautious, and your presence challenges us to look beyond fear. That is a gift, human." Their moments together became more personal, though always respectful. They shared meals, observed ceremonies, and visited sacred places. Jin Woo learned to appreciate the quiet beauty of Lyrianian culture, the way their society valued balance, wisdom, and honor. Hairin began to see that courage did not only come from strength, but from empathy, understanding, and the willingness to act despite fear. She admired Jin Woo for the humanity he carried, a trait that was rare in both their worlds. During one council meeting, a challenge arose from a neighboring kingdom. A rival princess questioned Hai Rin's authority and suggested that Jin Woo's presence was a weakness. Hai Rin stood tall, her confidence unshaken, and Jin Woo offered to assist not through combat, but through strategic advice and moral support. Together, they developed a plan that honored Lurianian customs while using human insight to outmaneuver their rivals diplomatically. The council members, initially doubtful, watched as the plan succeeded. Hai Rin's respect for Jin Woo deepened, and so did his for her. Through all these experiences, Jin Woo realized that his bond with Hai Rin was no longer just about survival or diplomacy. It had become personal. He admired her strength and intelligence, and he felt a genuine connection that transcended their differences. Hai Rin, in turn, found comfort in his calm presence, and in the way he saw her as both a warrior and a person, not just a princess or a symbol of power. One night, as they walked through the palace gardens, Hai Rin stopped near a fountain that sparkled under the alien stars. She looked at Jin Woo, her eyes softer than he had ever seen. "I did not expect this," she admitted, "to feel this connection with someone so different from me. But you have changed how I see many things." Jin Woo reached for her hand gently. "And you have shown me a world I never imagined. I am grateful for every moment I spend here." Hai Rin smiled, her fingers brushing his. "Then perhaps this is only the beginning," she said, a quiet promise in her voice. "There is much to learn from each other, much to face together." Jin Woo nodded, understanding the weight of her words. The duel in the arena had been the first step, but this journey, the learning, the respect, and the growing trust was far more important. And as they stood side by side under the alien sky, both knew that their bond was becoming something extraordinary, something neither had anticipated, but both were willing to embrace fully. The next morning, Jin Woo woke to the soft glow of the Lurianian sun filtering through the palace windows. He stretched, feeling a mixture of excitement and nerves. Today, he would continue his training, not just in combat, but in understanding the responsibilities of the Lurianian court. Hai Rin had arranged for him to meet more of her people, including scholars, advisors, and leaders who would test his understanding and adaptability. As he entered the main hall, Hai Rin was already waiting, dressed in ceremonial attire that shimmered under the light. She greeted him with a nod, her expression serious yet warm. "Today is about observation and understanding," she explained. "You will witness our council in session, and you must respond as appropriately as you can. This will show not only your intelligence, but also your respect for our ways." Jin Woo followed her into the council chamber. The room was vast, filled with beings from various regions of Lurien. Their forms were different, some tall and slender, others more compact and muscular, but all carried an aura of authority. They spoke quickly among themselves in a language Jin Woo did not fully understand, but Hai Rin whispered translations into his ear when necessary. The council began discussing a dispute between two territories over water rights from a sacred river. Jin Woo listened carefully, observing the nuances of their customs, the importance of respect, and the careful phrasing used to maintain harmony. When Hai Rin turned to him for input, he suggested a solution that honored the traditions of both sides while introducing a practical method humans use to share resources fairly. His idea was met with surprise, some skepticism, but ultimately approval. He felt a rush of pride. He was not just surviving in this alien world. He was contributing. After the meeting, Hai Rin led him to the training grounds. Today, the exercises were more physical. Jin Woo had learned to anticipate movements, but now he would practice coordinated exercises with Lurianian warriors. They moved gracefully around him, testing his reflexes and his ability to follow complex sequences. At first, he struggled, stumbling occasionally, but he quickly adapted. Hai-Rin watched closely, correcting his stance, encouraging him with small nods and smiles. He could sense her growing admiration, though she did not say it aloud. Later, they walked through the city, observing daily life. Markets buzzed with activity. Children played games of strategy that honed their mental skills, and families moved together in harmony. Jin Woo began to understand the depth of Lurianian culture, the balance between strength and wisdom, between independence and community. Hai-Rin explained the history of the city, its values, and the challenges it had faced over generations. Jin Woo listened, fascinated by how much he could learn from observation and conversation. That evening, they returned to the palace gardens, a place of quiet reflection. The twin moons were rising, casting a silver light over the flowers and fountains. Jin Woo and Hai-Rin sat together on a bench, the air filled with the scent of alien blossoms. "You have done well," Hai-Rin said softly. "Your understanding grows quickly, and your actions show respect and thoughtfulness. I did not expect a human to adapt so well." Jin Woo smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. "I want to do right by your people and by you. I know there is much I still need to learn, but I am willing to try." Hai-Rin's eyes softened. "Your willingness to try is rare. Many would give up when things seem impossible. You face challenges not just with skill, but with patience and respect. That is something even some of my people lack." They walked slowly through the gardens, discussing strategies for leadership, the importance of understanding different cultures, and the value of empathy in governance. Jin Woo shared human concepts of negotiation and compromise, while Hai-Rin explained Lurianian traditions and beliefs. Each conversation brought them closer, their mutual respect deepening into a quiet bond. She found herself laughing at his human expressions, while he marveled at her wisdom and insight. One day, a message arrived from a neighboring kingdom, a formal invitation to a diplomatic event. Hai-Rin looked at Jin Woo thoughtfully. "You will accompany me. It is important that our allies and rivals see you, not just as a visitor, but as someone who respects and understands our ways." Jin Woo nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. He had been trained for exploration and survival, but this was diplomacy, a test of understanding, patience, and courage. Hai-Rin stood beside him, her presence both reassuring and challenging. Together, they traveled to the neighboring palace, a place of ornate towers and intricate designs. The atmosphere was tense, with rival delegates scrutinizing every move. Jin Woo observed quietly, noting gestures, expressions, and the subtle codes of communication. When called upon, he spoke respectfully, offering insights that honored Lurianian traditions, while gently introducing human solutions. Hai-Rin's approval was evident in her nods and the occasional smile. By the end of the event, even the skeptical delegates recognized his sincerity and intelligence. The alliance was strengthened, and the bond between Jin Woo and Hai-Rin became more visible. After the event, as they returned to the palace, Hai-Rin spoke quietly. "You have done more than I expected. Your understanding of our people and your ability to navigate these challenges is impressive. I did not think a human could achieve this." Jin Woo felt a mixture of pride and humility. "I could not have done it without your guidance. You have taught me much, not just about your people, but about patience, honor, and courage." Hai-Rin's expression softened. "Perhaps this is only the beginning. There are still many tests ahead, but I trust you will continue to prove yourself. And I'm glad to have you by my side." As they walked through the palace corridors, Jin Woo realized that his role had changed. He was no longer just an explorer or a visitor. He was becoming a part of something larger, a connection between two worlds. The lessons of diplomacy, strategy, and empathy were challenging, but he faced them with determination. Hai Rin's presence made him feel both challenged and supported, a balance he had not known he needed. That night, in the quiet of his quarters, Jin Woo reflected on the journey so far. The duel in the arena had been the first step, but it was the understanding, the shared experiences, and the growing trust that truly mattered. Hai Rin's respect and quiet admiration gave him strength, while his sincerity and courage seemed to inspire her in return. He knew the path ahead would not be easy, but he felt ready to face it, not just as a human in an alien world, but as a partner and ally to the princess who had challenged him and accepted him in the most unexpected way. Tensions in the Lurinian court had been building. Rumors of Jin Woo's influence and his growing bond with Princess Hai Rin reached rival kingdoms. Some saw his presence as a threat, a weakness that could be exploited. Hai Rin knew she had to protect her people and her position, but she also knew Jin Woo's insights and courage were valuable. One morning, she approached him in the palace gardens, her expression serious. "A challenge approaches," she said. "Another princess seeks to undermine me, testing my authority. You may not understand all the politics, but your presence and judgment will be important." Jin Woo nodded, feeling both nervous and determined. He had faced many unknowns before, but this was a new kind of challenge. It was not a duel of strength, but one of strategy, respect, and understanding. "I will do my best," he said, and Hai Rin's gaze softened slightly. Showing trust in his words, the rival princess, So Hee, arrived at the ceremonial grounds with a group of her advisors and guards. She was known for her cunning and ambition, and her reputation alone made the Lurianian council uneasy. Hai Rin stood tall, her posture proud, and Jin Woo stayed close, observing every detail. The event was meant to be a demonstration of skill and authority, but Hai Rin intended to handle it with dignity and strategy rather than force alone. The ceremony began with formal greetings, each gesture and phrase carefully chosen to reflect respect. Jin Woo noticed the subtle shifts in body language, the quick glances between advisors, and the silent challenges presented through posture and expression. He whispered observations to Hai Rin, who nodded thoughtfully. Together, they anticipated moves, responded calmly, and maintained a presence of control. When So Hee attempted to provoke Hai Rin, questioning her leadership and pointing to Jin Woo's presence as a distraction, Hai Rin responded with quiet confidence. "Strength is measured not only in force, but in wisdom and understanding," she said. "A leader values the counsel of those who show respect and courage, regardless of origin." The audience murmured, and Jin Woo felt the weight of the moment. He stepped forward, offering a perspective that combined human logic and respect for Lurianian tradition. He suggested a peaceful solution to a dispute that So Hee had raised, a plan that allowed both sides to maintain honor while avoiding conflict. The council members, initially skeptical, began to see the merit of the proposal. Even So Hee hesitated, realizing that Hai Rin's leadership and Jin Woo's insight created an unexpected advantage. After the ceremony, the council praised Hai Rin's calm handling of the situation. Jin Woo received quiet nods of approval from those who had doubted him. Hai Rin placed a hand on his shoulder, a rare gesture of gratitude and acknowledgement. "You have shown more than I imagined," she said. "Not by fighting, but by standing with me, thinking, and acting with honor. You are changing how our people see human potential." Jin Woo felt a mix of relief and pride. He realized that his actions, his patience, intelligence, and respect had made a difference. The day's events strengthened his bond with Hai Rin, deepening trust and admiration. Their partnership was becoming visible to the entire court, and it was clear that their connection went beyond strategy and diplomacy. In the following days, Jin Woo and Hai Rin continued their joint efforts to strengthen alliances and improve understanding between Lurianians and humans. They met with scholars to discuss trade and technology, attended cultural ceremonies, and observed the daily lives of citizens. Jin Woo learned to navigate the complexities of Lurianian society, balancing respect for tradition with practical problem-solving. Hai Rin guided him with patience, sometimes correcting him gently, sometimes allowing him to make mistakes and learn from them. During one training session, Hai Rin introduced exercises that combined physical agility with mental challenges. Jin Woo struggled at first, but gradually improved, surprising the warriors around him. Hai Rin watched with a small smile, pleased by his determination. "You continue to surprise me," she said. "Your mind is sharp, and your courage is steady. That combination is rare, even among our people." The bond between them grew stronger outside of formal duties. They shared quiet conversations in the palace gardens, discussing their hopes, fears, and experiences. Jin Woo spoke of Earth, its beauty and struggles, while Hai Rin shared stories of her childhood, the weight of expectation, and her dreams for her people. In these moments, they saw each other not as human and alien, but as individuals capable of understanding and care. One evening, after a long day of meetings and training, they watched the twin moons rise above the city. The sky was filled with stars, and the air was cool and fragrant. Hai Rin spoke softly. "You have changed many things since you arrived. Not just the way others see you, but the way I see our world and my responsibilities." Jin Woo turned to her, his eyes reflecting the moon's glow. "And you have changed me," he said. "You have shown me courage, wisdom, and the importance of patience. I am grateful for every moment I spend here." Hai Rin smiled, a rare and genuine expression that lit her face. "Perhaps this is only the beginning," she said. "There is still much to face, but with trust and understanding, we can face it together." As they stood side by side, the palace behind them and the city before them, Jin Woo realized the depth of their connection. It was not just a bond of friendship or strategy. It was a partnership built on respect, courage, and shared values. He knew that challenges would come, but with Hai Rin at his side, he felt ready to face anything. Their journey was far from over, but the foundation had been laid for something extraordinary. A union of hearts and minds that could inspire not only their worlds, but the galaxy beyond. The day of the betrothal ceremony arrived with a sky painted in hues of orange and violet. The city of Lurien buzzed with excitement, its streets filled with citizens and visitors from neighboring kingdoms. Jin Woo stood beside Hai Rin at the palace entrance, feeling a mixture of pride, nervousness, and awe. He had never imagined that his journey would lead to this moment, yet he felt ready. Bolstered by the bond they had built over weeks of trust, learning, and shared experiences, Hai Rin looked stunning in ceremonial attire, her presence regal and calm. Her eyes met Jin Woo's, and a small smile crossed her lips. "Are you ready?" she asked softly. Jin Woo nodded, feeling a surge of determination. "As ready as I will ever be," he replied. He glanced at the crowd, the council, and the guests, understanding the significance of the moment. This was more than a ceremony. It was a promise of unity, a symbol of trust and hope for the future of both their peoples. The ceremony began with traditional music, the haunting melodies echoing through the palace halls. Citizens and dignitaries watched silently, the atmosphere a mix of reverence and anticipation. Hai Rin led Jin Woo to the central dais, where the elders of Lurien awaited. The air was filled with the scent of ceremonial blossoms and the soft glow of floating lights, creating a magical and solemn ambience. The elder of the council, a wise figure named Sunho, spoke first. "Today, we witness a bond not only between two individuals, but between our worlds. The courage, wisdom, and respect displayed by this human have proven his worth. The princess has chosen wisely." Hai Rin stepped forward, her hand brushing Jin Woo's. "Jin Woo," she said. her voice steady and clear. "You have shown honor, bravery, and respect beyond what I imagined possible. Will you accept this union, not just as a formality, but as a commitment to stand together, to guide and protect, to learn and share as equals?" Jing-Woo looked at her, the enormity of the moment settling in. He saw the hopes of her people, the expectations of the council, and the trust she had placed in him. He took a deep breath and nodded. "I accept," he said. "I will honor this bond, and I will stand with you in every way I can." The crowd erupted in quiet applause, their cheers respectful yet celebratory. Hai-Rin smiled, and Jin-Woo felt a warmth in his chest unlike anything he had ever experienced. The ceremony continued with symbolic gestures, the exchange of tokens representing unity, trust, and the shared responsibilities of leadership. Each step reinforced the connection they had forged through understanding, courage, and mutual respect. As the final ritual concluded, Hai-Rin placed her hand in Jin-Woo's, the gesture simple but profound. They stood together, facing the gathered crowd, their hearts synchronized in a bond that transcended species, culture, and expectation. It was a moment of triumph, not from conquest, but from the power of empathy, trust, and shared values. After the ceremony, they walked through the palace gardens, now filled with laughter and music from the celebrations. Jin-Woo marveled at the beauty of the city, now seen through new eyes. The towers glowed softly under the twin moons, and the streets were alive with joy and anticipation for the future. Citizens approached, offering congratulations and expressing hope for the unity their leaders represented. Hai-Rin turned to Jin-Woo, her eyes reflecting the glow of the ceremonial lights. "We have come far," she said softly. "From a duel that tested courage, to understanding, and now to this. I never imagined it would unfold this way." Jin-Woo smiled, feeling the weight of the journey behind them, and the promise of what lay ahead. "Neither did I," he admitted. "But I am grateful. You have shown me a world of courage, wisdom, and kindness. I will do everything I can to honor you and your people." Their partnership became a symbol for the galaxy, an example of how trust and understanding could bridge worlds. Messages of admiration and curiosity arrived from distant planets, eager to learn from the examples set by Hai-Rin and Jin-Woo. Together, they planned initiatives to improve relations, share knowledge, and foster peace. Their bond was strong, built not on force or fear, but on respect, courage, and the willingness to understand and embrace differences. As night fell, Jin-Woo and Hai-Rin stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The stars sparkled brightly, and the twin moons reflected on the silver rivers that flowed through the streets. They did not speak, for words were unnecessary. The journey they had shared, the challenges they had faced, and the trust they had built spoke volumes. Hai-Rin leaned slightly against him, her head resting lightly on his shoulder. Jin-Woo wrapped an arm around her, a protective and comforting gesture. Together, they watched the city, their hearts filled with hope and anticipation. The duel that had begun as a test of skill had transformed into a journey of connection, understanding, and love. In the quiet of the night, they promised themselves and each other that they would continue to stand together, to face challenges with courage, and to lead their peoples with wisdom and compassion. Their bond was now a beacon, a symbol of what could be achieved when trust, empathy, and bravery guided the way. As the celebrations continued below, Jin-Woo and Hai-Rin remained together, looking toward the future. Their hands intertwined, they felt the strength of a partnership that could inspire generations. The journey from duel to hug, from challenge to betrothal, had shown that understanding and courage could overcome fear, and that love could emerge in the most unexpected ways. Together, they would face the galaxy, united in purpose, trust, and hope.